Hi guys, welcome to today's session, and today we are going to discuss about the refugee problems commonly and most specifically about United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. And in this session, we'll first discuss a brief about UNHCR, then we'll discuss about the 1951 Refugee Convention, then we'll discuss about the 1967 protocol, and then we'll discuss the UNHCR and India, its relationship. So this is how I plan this session. Let's now start. So guys, UNHCR is a refugee agency, and it is an international organization working to saving lives, safeguarding the rights, and providing a future for refugees, forcibly displaced communities, and stateless people. And the organization target audience includes refugees, people who are forcibly displaced from their homes, asylum seekers, internally displaced persons, and stateless people. It was established in 1950 and UNHCR, and it has provided relief to thousands of refugees and displaced persons in many parts of world. And UNHCR has won Nobel Prize for Peace twice in 1954 and 1981. And the chief legal document that governs the work of UNHCR is 1951 Refugee Convention. And the organization works in 135 countries, and in India, it has offices in New Delhi and Chennai. It was first established its presence in India in 1981. And UNHCR is headed by High Commissioner for Refugees, and it is its parent organization is United Nations General Assembly. And so that is a brief about the UNHCR. Now I'll discuss more about the 1951 Refugee Convention. The 1951 Refugee Convention is a UN treaty that defines who a refugee is and establishes the rights of such persons and also of those who are granted asylum. It is the main legal document that governs the working of UNHCR. It is also called the Convention relating to the status of refugees, or the Geneva Convention of 28 July 1951. It also talks about the responsibilities and legal obligations of countries that grant asylum status to people. Apart from that, the convention also defines that who are not eligible for asylum status, such as war criminals, and also this convention is the central guiding document for of international refugee protection today. The convention defines a refugee as someone who is unable or unwilling to return to their country of origin owing to a well-founded fear of being persecuted for reasons of race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group, or political opinion. The convention is both a status and rights based instrument, and is underpinned by a number of fundamental principles, most notably non-discrimination, non-penalization, and non-refoulement. The non-refoulement is a fundamental principle of international law that forbids a country receiving asylum seekers from returning them to a country in which they would be in likely danger of persecution based on race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group, or political opinion. The convention stipulates that a refugee shall not be prosecuted by a country for illegal entry. The Refugee Convention also prescribes some minimum standards for the treatment of refugees with respect to giving them rights of access to justice, education, travel, etc. And most notably, India is not a signatory to 1951 Refugee Convention. So that is 1951 Refugee Convention. Now we'll discuss brief about the 1967 protocol. So friends, the protocol relating to the status of refugees, alternatively known as the 1967 protocol, is a major international document for refugees. The protocol expands the definition of a refugee given in the convention. It also removes the Eurocentricity of convention, and India is not a signatory to 1967 protocol also. So India is not a signatory to 1951 Refugee Convention, and also not a signatory to 1967 protocol. Now we will discuss a few points about the UNHCR and its relationship with India. Even though India is not a signatory to Refugee Convention and the protocol, and also does not have a national refugee protection framework, it accepts a large number of asylum seekers and refugees into the country, though the country generally follows the principle of non-refoulement as defined in the UNHCR guidelines. India deals with different refugee groups differently, that is on a case-by-case basis. Security considerations have led to the government granting asylum and refugee rights based on group of people consent, and most of the government protected refugees are Tibetans and Sri Lankan Tamils. And some of the constraints that UNHCR finds in working towards their goals in India are lack of national refugee protection framework, limited understanding about the local population of the plight of refugees results in a large of lack of empathy and often exploitation and discrimination towards them, and also the steady rise in number of asylum seekers from Myanmar and Afghanistan during the past few years has reduced the protection space. And against a broader background of different socio-economic conditions for large segments of India's population, a rise in racism and xenophobia have undermined the tradition of tolerance in India. And also security concerns and steps taken by the government in dealing with this might result in making things more difficult for refugees, especially in regularizing their stay in the country. And there we have an example of in January 2019, a Rohingya family was sent back to Myanmar by the government, and the UNHCR has expressed regret over the decision. And the family had been detained in a prison in Assam for illegal entry since 2013. UNHCR has also sought clarifications from the government on the return of Rohingya refugees. So, India has to deal with enormous refugees problems many times in its history since independence. So, this is a major issue we are facing, and it is also an expected question in the UPSC mains examination. So, please study about this topic in detail, guys. Thank you for watching this lesson. We will meet tomorrow with another topic.